So the next planet is Neptune. It's associated with mysticism and perhaps compassion. It's another what we would associate as a generational planet. It takes about 165 years to orbit the sun. So anyone in the same generation is going to have the same sign placement of Neptune, similar to Uranus. And I think it's fluid, changeable, illusionary in nature. It's associated with, I guess, dreams. Again, that word illusion, abstract thought, anything mysterious is ruled by Neptune's. So the house and sign placement of Neptune, especially the house placement more than the sign in your birth chart, is spirituality and dreams. I don't know if you'd agree with all of that.
Yeah, Neptune is perhaps the most difficult to describe. What's interesting is when Neptune is making a transit, I find my clients can't tell me, or I'll ask them what was happening in this period of your life. Neptune transit is going to last a few years because it's so slow moving. And people typically don't remember. Then if I keep asking, I ask the right questions, they'll be like, oh yeah, I guess I drank more than I normally do in those few years, or I watched more TV, or I was kind of depressed or something like that. So Neptune rules Pisces. So everything I said about the Pisces 12th house video would apply to Neptune. So then it would be in detriment in Virgo. I believe Neptune is considered exalted in Cancer and in fall in Capricorn. Intuitively, I feel like Neptune may also be exalted in Libra and in fall in Aries. So we'll see. Last time Neptune transited into Aries was the beginning of the Civil War. And so now in a few years, we'll see what happens. So Neptune is the energy of the mystic, the artist, the musician, the empath. So it is pure feeling, pure emotion. And so being that it feels so much, it carries this sadness, this pain with it. It also would be create the impulse to sacrifice, as well as to glamorize or idealize things. So Neptune rules the imagination. It promotes dreaming and daydreaming. And so Neptune will also sometimes show us what we're inclined to daydream and fantasize about, which is also what we would be inclined to idealize and glamorize. So the house that Neptune happens to show up in will very often show us where we make sacrifices in our life. Particularly if it's negatively aspected, it may show where some sort of a martyr complex shows up. It may also show where we're inclined to fantasize and glamorize something. The Neptune energy is very subtle. So it creates the impulse to transcend humanity. If you could say Uranus would create the impulse to transcend through innovation and rebellion and innovation through the intellect, Neptune would create the impulse to transcend through sacrifice, as well as through, you could say, dissipation. That's maybe not a great word, but Neptune is also very a nebulous kind of energy. It's difficult to describe. So it seeks to merge with something that's much greater than itself. So it's, in my opinion, along with all three of the outer planets are difficult in their own way. The Neptune energy really does not like this state of individuality and materialism. It wants to merge with the divine, with the earth, with humanity, with a crowd. So very often, you think of the crowd psychology, say at a sporting event. People who might be very mild mannered are get really enthusiastic, perhaps in a very dysfunctional way at a sporting event. When everybody gets riled up, they're screaming at the ref and ready to get in a fight with, the fans for the other team. So that it's that Neptune energy that very much will cause us to kind of get lost in the crowd and become a sheep, because it seeks to kind of merge with something greater and dissolve one's boundaries of individuality and personal identity. So very often with Neptune prominent, people are inclined towards escapist like activities, drugs and alcohol, TV watching, perhaps, but not necessarily a more evolved expression might be through meditation, through arts and music. Religiousness, though, it's interesting because Jupiter very much kind of carries the energy of religiousness. So it might be more spirituality. So like the Jupiter energy might cause somebody to go to church, to where the Neptune energy might cause somebody to like go to the chapel when church isn't going on and say prayers for hours when nobody's looking. It's seeking that direct connection with God, or, whatever you may believe in.
It may be also associated with psychic awareness. I've heard Neptune described as all that we believe that we cannot experience with the five senses.
So what I would say is all three outer planets carry the potential to promote psychic abilities. So with Uranus, it may be in a more cerebral way, like getting downloads, like some sort of genius idea, of how to solve a problem or create an invention or something like that. With Neptune, it may be more like somebody who goes on a shamanic journey and meets a spirit guide or gets some information, in like a meditative dream state kind of thing, or is just very sensitive to subtle energy. So you're somebody who does energy work, who can really feel those subtleties, or perhaps even like the musician or the artist who can really feel those like subtleties that, like, for the casual listener of the music, it's just like, wow, that feels really, like I really enjoy the music, but I can't tell you why. So that person is very sensitive to those subtleties, which would be outside of the scope of perception for most people. And then with that as well is that empathy. So the inclination to kind of take on somebody else's energy. So when you're around people who are very hostile, all of a sudden now you're feeling all agitated, or if people are depressed, now you're depressed. And so somebody who's like an energy worker or a therapist or, whatever it may be, they feel drained and all messed up because they're taking on their client's stuff and they got to bubble up and do some sort of clearing stuff, whatever it may be. So that's very much part of the Neptune energy. And so, yes, people with prominent Neptune sometimes are, I would say the people that are very like psychic very often have prominent Neptune.